I entered the legal profession at a time when less than 3% of that profession were women. It's extraordinary to think how in the course of one lifetime, one generation, the changes that have occurred. Recruitment and hiring at Duke Law School in that era was greatly impacted by the male domination of the profession. There were no women on the faculty at all at Duke. In fact, I think it was another couple of years before a visitor came and visited at Duke. So things were very different. I will say that the administration in that era was very supportive of the few of us who were there. I think there were approximately 12 of us in all three classes. And in my second year, so that would have been in 1970, we organized the Women's Law Caucus. That's why I was wondering what your title is, because we started out at Duke as the Women's Law Caucus. We organized ourselves. We went to the administration, and the administration, under the leadership of Dean Kenneth Pye, gave us some administrative money and said if we wanted to put together our own seminar, which we did, in that era it was called Sex Discrimination and the Law, we could do it. Now, there wasn't anybody to teach it, and there weren't any materials to go along with it, but we took the administration's money and we invited guest speakers to submit materials and to come down to Durham to speak to us. And I'll just mention two of the sessions that I remember most vividly, one of which was presented by a young lawyer who was doing litigation for the ACLU and teaching at Rutgers at the time, named Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was also in process of preparing what became the first textbook on gender discrimination issues. That was a fascinating couple of hours. We also invited a woman named Barbara Babcock, who was at the time a young federal defender in Washington, D.C. She went on to be a law professor at Stanford and has just completed a major history of women lawyers in California, and has contributed greatly to the scholarship. So there were a few shining lights out there, but you had to go out and do the research to find them. In that era also, I had a law professor in my conflicts class tell me that he thought that motherhood was incompatible with the study of law. This was occasioned by the fact that I had had a child in the fall of my third year and had missed 1 week of classes. He'd never called on me before, but he called on me 3 days running. It meant Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He called on me all 3 days. First time I was not prepared. The second time I was not prepared. The third time I was prepared. And I ran into him on the elevator and said, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I wasn't skipping class, I had a good excuse. I just had a baby. And that's when he told me that he thought motherhood and the study of law were incompatible. So that was also the era in which the Women's Law Caucus went to the administration and said that the administration should do something about law firms interviewing on campus who refused to interview women. Most of them wanted only law review to start with, but we were more concerned about the fact that even the women on law review couldn't get interviews with some of those firms. And I will say that the administration was very responsive.